now at Feshiang Company headquarters. In the room 3 people were sitting leisurely, surrounded by their servants. Ma Dada Sheng was the one who held 15% of the shares. He held a young girl and raised his voice. How has the car betting luck been recently? Then he laughed and said, this is my trophy from the other day. His hands squeezed the girl's shoulders. She immediately trembled with fear. Uncle Chang, who holds 25% of the shares, saw that and immediately teasing. Is it legal to look so small? Ma Dada Sheng refuses to leave it alone. Uncle Chang, is it legal in your hand? Uncle Chang laughed, his hands lightly touching the armrest of the chair. I like to play illegal. You still. Ang Den again holds 20% of the shares. He crosses his arms across his chest. His eyebrows furrowed in annoyance. Uncle Chang, is that Mr. Lin really coming? Uncle Chang laughed loudly. He had already called. He would be here soon. That guy called Lin Sin was just an ordinary college student. He thought he would get 40% of the shares and come here to share the money. Because he thought that Feshiang Company was a normal company. He did not stop and continued to speak proudly. The most ridiculous thing is still Lao follow along. You guys don't go overboard later. It's not good to scare our new shareholder into peeing his pants. Ang Den 2. Regarding this matter, accountability will be pursued to the fullest extent. And neither the Chia father nor son can evade it. At this moment, the door was pushed open and a voice rang out. Someone peed their pants. At this moment Lin Sin walked in with a leisurely attitude. He spoke clearly. Hello shareholders. I am Lin Sin. I heard that a shareholders meeting is about to be held to divide the money. I feel a little I was embarrassed to be paid for doing nothing, so I brought everyone a coconut. At this moment, the 3 people simultaneously looked towards the door, their eyes full of contempt. The young man, Ang Den, smirked, just coming to know the new shareholder. At this moment a guy walked up and held a piece of paper in front of Lin Sin's eyes. Ma Dada Sheng said, sign this contract. Lin Sin looked at the paper. This is a share capital transfer contract. You want me to transfer the shares unconditionally? At this time, the other guy became impatient. If he didn't sign, he wouldn't even dream of leaving this place. Lin Sin turned around and behind him were 2 strong guys. At this moment, the young girl in Ma Dada Sheng's arms looked at Lin Sin. Ah, so it's like the Hong Men banquet. At this moment Lin Sin snatched the paper and threw it away. His voice full of humor. I didn't sign, you bite me. At this moment the guy didn't look anymore, he rushed forward intending to give Lin Sin a punch. Please don't drink alcohol. Want to drink alcohol as punishment. Saw the fist about to hit his handsome face. Lin Sin immediately caught him. He grabbed his wrist tightly, causing the opponent to tremble and unable to move. He was afraid and bent down to beg for his forgiveness. The 3 remaining shareholders, he couldn't bear it any longer and gritted his teeth in anger. The reckless guy, at this time, surrounded the defenders. They all rushed up. Together they held their right hands and signed. Seeing them rush towards Lin Sin just sighed. I originally only cooperated with the police to come here to get some evidence and information from Feshiang Company. As expected, the situation is not that simple. Lin Sin right now threw a coconut at them. Then the coconut hit one of them in the face, making him scream in pain. The coconut continued to fly towards Ma Dada Sheng. Everyone raised their swords to slash. Lin Sin's eyes were full of hatred. Lin Sin immediately dodged the knives. They swung gently. At this time the 3 shareholders were stunned and everyone's mouths were open. Lin Sin used all his strength to punch the opponent so that he had no time to fight back. After dealing with that guy behind him, he immediately sent another guy. That guy was swinging his knife and he observed. Then he bent down and held the leg of the person who had just was defeated by him. In his mind he couldn't help but think, if the system assigned to someone who was proficient in Chinese martial arts and swordsmanship, it wouldn't be so sleazy. Then he held one person up, spun around, and flew all over their teammates. The teammates immediately fell to the ground. The other person stood rooted to the spot, constantly panicking. They couldn't believe how he could do that. How could that be possible? Lin Sin had now defeated all the bodyguards. He turned around and looked at the 3 shareholders. Only you were left, right? He held up a person lying on the ground and boldly walked towards the 3 shareholders. The 3 of them trembled in fear. Petty little bandits. I have been a strong man for 30 years. Do you think I would be afraid of you? At this moment Ma Dada Sheng picked up the coconut and shouted loudly, intending to throw it at Lin Sin, but he immediately changed his expression. Mr. Lin, you really are. Why do you need to be so polite when you come? Even buy me coconuts. Ma Dada Sheng, I'm the first one to welcome you. Lin Sin smiled and pointed towards him. Ma Dada Sheng, this IQ is quite high. Ang Den clasped his hands together and forced a smile. That's right, that's right. At this point Lin Sin changed his tone. He held out 3 shares transfer papers. So everyone knows what to do. Right, the 3 people trembled in fear. We knew. Right after forcing them to sign, Lin Sin was satisfied and left with 100% ownership of the shares. Not bad. This shareholder meeting was perfect. Then he waved his hand. Ended the meeting, leaving 3 people kneeling behind watching him leave indignantly. They gritted their teeth. Hateful. At this moment Uncle Chang clenched his fist and his voice became hateful. Brat. Do you think Feshiang Company is a small company? Are you sure it's okay? Hearing that, Lin Sin turned around and exclaimed in surprise. At this time the 3 of them continued. Feshiang Company is just a subsidiary. The parent company is actually in Myanmar. Then Ang Den continued. The supply chain in there. You can't imagine how many forces behind it. Big. Lin Sin imagined the free time next to Myanmar with sparkling sunny and windy scenery and beautiful girls. What a wonderful place, he thought to himself. Myanmar, what a sunny and windy subtropical landscape. See if I want to get key evidence. I have to go on a trip. Lin Sin stroked her chin thoughtfully. Will the police pay for this trip? Maybe I can save some money. Activating a beautiful money-making tool from another country is amazing. Lin Sin turned around and laughed loudly. Really good, so good. Seeing Lin Sin acting like that, the 3 people behind were bewildered and didn't understand what was going on. Then Lin, please wave your hand. The 3 people on the other side. In response to the confusion of the 3 of you, continue to speak. I have many things for you to help me take care of the company. Those people immediately objected. Our industry is 2 important words. Loyalty. What do you think we will do about this kind of thing, like betraying the boss? I even blocked a knife for the boss. Do you want to casually say something? Before they could finish, Lin Sin smiled and said, every day, I work 5 hours a day. Get 2 days off on weekends and holidays. My salary doubles. The 3 of them heard that and immediately changed their attitudes. Starting from today, you are our boss. I am willing to block bullets for you. I am willing to be a buffalo and a horse for you. It is true that matter determines consciousness. At this time the 3 shareholders heard the betrayal of those who close friends immediately became angry. You white-eyed wolves did this job. Immediately after that they lowered their voices and changed their facial expressions like flipping rice paper. They should have let us do it. At this time Lin Sin like a king lying on a bed, surrounded by servants who fan him and bring fruit for him. Lin Sin excitedly lay down and thought. In a few days, after collecting enough evidence, I will slowly deal with you guys later. In the yard, flying to Myanmar, Lin Sin landed safely. He happily walked amidst the crowds. Myanmar, it was finally here. He was so excited. He wholeheartedly experienced the foreign landscape. Instant reality, as if pouring him a bucket of cold water. A guy walked over and held out a piece of paper and said, hello, entry application for 20 Chinese yuan. Lin Sin heard that and immediately froze in place. It was difficult. It was very difficult to leave the airport. He was immediately stopped by a security guard. Hello, a little fee. He went to the room to ask for a stamp. A girl gently smiled at him. Hello, no fee, it's not easy to pass. At this moment the money in his body just flew away. He couldn't hold it in any longer. Got angry and walked out quickly. As he walked, he thought, is this Myanmar all charging so much? It's not much but also very obnoxious. Then he randomly chose a car. He wanted to quickly leave this place as quickly as possible. Master, go to the Soldan Pagoda scenic spot. At this moment a luxury car stopped. Getting out of the car was Wei Schumann, was full of aura. Behind her was a bodyguard. At this moment a fierce argument was heard. It was the voice of Lin Sin and the driver from earlier. Lin Sin shouted loudly, 50 yuan, foreigner going such a distance with me. Why did you only give me 25 yuan? The driver replied, we in Myanmar set the price like that. Wherever you go it's the same price. You must give me this amount of money. Lin Sin is helpless. This country's double standards really opened my eyes. Hearing the argument, Wei Shuman was surprised. She walked towards the two people. On this side, the two people were still arguing fiercely. Lin Sin, hot-tempered. Specializes in tricking us perfume people. Right, I'll only give you 25. You can take it if you like. The driver won't give up. If you don't give 50 yuan, then don't leave. Wei Shuman spoke up at this time. Let him go. The driver was now confused. Mrs. Wei. But Lin Sin was confused, not knowing who this person was and why he was helping him. Wei Shuman crossed his arms. Just think of it as accumulating virtue for Mr. Chanu. Hope he can enter the cycle of reincarnation smoothly. The driver replied, Yes, Mrs. Wei. At this time a ding sounded. That's it. It was a signal to discover a beautiful girl. When she started the play mission, it turned out that this girl Wei Shuman was 27 years old. 172 centimeters tall, and weighed 52 kilograms. Seeing this, Lin Sin was startled. She was the target, playing around. Then he pieced together the information. The other driver called her mom. Plus her funeral outfit also had some kind of reincarnation cycle. Then he raised his hand chin thoughtfully, just in time to test his SS-level feng shui divination skills. He looked at her from top to bottom and couldn't help but think. Looking at her face, the lines were black. She had recently lost a relative. Moreover, today she had a disaster of bankruptcy. And then you were proud. So strong, worthy of an SS-level skill. Saw the two of them leave. You immediately followed. Is it because of the disaster of bankruptcy? Is it a coincidence? The more serious your bankruptcy, the happier I am making money. At the Jade selling area, Lin Sin following him couldn't help but exclaim. It's really amazing. Selling jade is like selling radishes. Wei Shuman stopped at a stall. The owner looked at this stone. The shop owner immediately brought out the tools to try. The beauty really knows how to look at the goods. This stone is from the Muna area. It is definitely high quality. Is my shop's talisman. She looked at the stone and suddenly thought. This green color is indeed of good quality. But I can't be 100% sure. Now that I don't have much money, I must buy it. Only good products. The boss saw her hesitation and continued. This green color must be at least half a finger deep. At the very least it must be worth several hundred million in Myanmar money. A person standing behind the boss chimed in. Buy it now, beauty. Quote the price. Wei Shuman wondered. A few hundred million in Myanmar money probably wouldn't be 8,000, 10,000. So maybe think a little bit. The boss gave a mysterious smile. 8,000. Low price. My best price is 100 million. In honor of the beauty, 8,000 can also be sold to you. Then he brought his dirty hand to your chest. But you have to play with me a little bit. The bodyguard immediately she caught his hand and bent it back. His claws trying to touch his wife. The boss cried out in pain. It hurts. Let go, let go. At this time Wei Shuman spoke up. Don't broken. He also had to transport rocks for me. Hearing that, the bodyguard let go. At this time, he straightened his painful hand full of anger. I know, you're Chanu's lady, the boss of the pay gang. No wonder you're so feisty. Then he continued to say. It's a pity that Chanu died early. I heard that pay gang is about to be unable to survive anymore. Why did you come here to bet? Oh, you're out of money. Right. Listen. So Wei Shuman's eyes turned angry, looking towards the talkative boss. She immediately gave him a slap. There was a loud slap and the slap was so strong that he fell backwards. He fell on the stones, causing them to crack. After the powerful slap, Wei Shuman was upset. Giving you have a face. Right. The boss held up a stone and shouted loudly. Hey, this woman intentionally broke my stone. If she couldn't pay the price of 100 million, she wanted to smash my stall. See, attracting the attention of the people around him. He shouted even louder. Come on, Chanu is bankrupt. You guys don't have money and you still dare to come and bet. What are you acting like? You poor bastards. What are you doing? If you're brave enough, buy it for 100 million. Damn it. At this moment there were a few people filming behind. Wei Shuman was worried. If it wasn't because of gathering money, then I would. But now if I don't pay, then this group of people will use an excuse to cause trouble. Until then. While she was still thinking, Lin Sin immediately spoke up. 100 million M coins. Right, that also means 350.000 Chinese money. Let's swipe card to go. This made her extremely surprised. The boss at this moment gritted his teeth angrily. Who are you? A Thai person. Lin Sin smiled lightly. Going without changing his name. Sitting without changing his last name. Perfume person. Those the people in the stall, and the boss immediately looked down on Lin Sin. There's no place for you to talk about perfume here. Don't you hurry up and go away. Perfume man. As long as it's a perfume man. You'll be charged urgently. Dude, you have to pay 200 million M coins to get this stone. Lin Sin frowned. His eyes also became uncomfortable with the people in front of him. Originally intended to play around to make money. How much money to spend? It's okay to play around. But now the money can be earned a little late. At this time Lin Sin stepped closer to the boss. Now breaking his face is the most important thing. The boss fell down and backed away in fear later. At this time Wei Shuman spoke up. Who are you? Stop worrying about how much money you have. The rules of this market can't be messed with by a Chinese person like you. Lin Sin frowned and looked at the woman. Now is there something wrong with you? Wei Shuman felt guilty and didn't know what to say. Lin Sin excitedly said loudly. Double the price. Right. Okay, I'll buy more. Take out all the stones from your store. If you see it, you will buy it all. The boss shouted loudly. Do you hear anything? Bring all the stones here. The servant quickly brought all the stones to Lin Sin. Yes, boss. The boss thought excitedly. The fat pig offered his head. For me, killing my luck today wasn't bad. He chuckled. This batch of goods has been appraised by experts. They all look very good on the outside, but in reality they are not worth the money. Simply put, it's scary, otherwise I would have opened it myself. Then specializes in fooling stupid people like that a little more to see his jokes. At this time Lin Sin walked over and picked up each stone to choose. Crystallizing the texture of this one and the shell of that one is very luxurious. This one could be purple-green. Then with him, he chose 8 stones. He sat down and crossed his arms to look at the stones. But his appraisal skills could only see the outside. How deep the color inside was. How many cracks were all impossible to guess. Although it can increase the rate of getting good goods. But not 100% sure. But at this time feng shui fortune telling can completely compensate for this gap. Then he sat cross-legged and clasped his hands together to do feng shui fortune telling to toss the hexagram. He flipped 2 coins up in front of each stone. The first one is a coin with 1 flower and 1 number. Holy number. Yes. The second coin is all negative flowers. No. The third bullet continued. Then he kept tossing like that until he ran out of kicks. Outside the boss stood with his arms crossed and looked on with disdain. Pretending to be a god and a demon. Wei Shuman stood outside not understanding what he was doing. Later then he stood up and pointed at the stones. Okay, these 5 stones will be cut now. The boss was excited. No problem. Pay in advance. A total of 700 million M coins. Which is also 2,300.000 currency. Right after he transferred money. T received 2,300.000 in flower money. Everyone around talked non-stop. The most interesting thing was looking at the perfumer's expression. You guys pretended to try it, but in the end you couldn't open it. What? You stupid kid. Bought some nonsense. And got tricked. Right, I'm telling you, those pills that look crystalline, have a very good texture, are all fake. Boss at this moment, when I heard it, I immediately said, don't talk nonsense. I'm not deceiving people. They bought more than 200.000 worth of flowers from the golden pig. Looking at the way he dresses. He must be a fortune. Okay, Lin Sin now smiled complacently. Oh, if you're curious, now open the stone. Open your dog eyes and look. Then everyone used their cutting eyes to open each stone. The boss sighed at this time. It was all a waste of time. Some people even laughed at Lin Sin. The perfume person is so stupid. And doesn't know how to be confident. Where did you get it? At this moment the boss was about to turn around and leave an employee panicking. The boss was all. He didn't turn around and raised his eyebrows and said, what's wrong? Everyone left right. At this time they brought the cut pieces of stone. All of which were already on the shelf. Seeing the colorful green and purple pieces. The boss was surprised and couldn't believe his eyes. 2 purple jade stones. 2 jade stones. Green jade crystal. An imperial green stone. Everyone outside. Both Wei Shuman and her bodyguards were panicking. At this time everyone was surrounding Lin Sin. You are handsome. You are handsome. Jade crystal. I pay 2,000.000 flowers for that purple jade. I pay 3,000.000 flowers for purple jade. 4,000.000 flowers to sell that green crystal jade to me. Please. Green crystal. I pay 6,000.000 flowers. This time an elegant man walked up. I bought all the flowers for 7.50.000. Wei Shuman was now soft-spoken. Lin Xin was full of excitement. You all paid very high prices, but I decided to give them all to the predestined beauty. This one-time meeting with me, he said while pointing his hand at Wei Shuman. This made the people around him extremely shocked. What? More than 7.00.000 jade stones. Free flower money. At this time Wei Shuman was extremely upset. Unexpectedly, with Lin Xin's decision, the people around kept talking, probably wanting to get acquainted with the Pei Gang high-rise. Right, casting a long rod is good at catching big fish. Wei Shuman walked closer to Lin Xin. I don't know what purpose you helped me for, but now I really need your favor, so. She took off her necklace. This jade card is Wei Shuman's promissory note. I give it to you. In the future, in Myanmar, no matter what trouble you encounter, just take out the jade token. And of course someone will respect you. I will definitely attribute the gift you gave me. Cash. We'll pay double later. Lin Xin reached out to receive the jade card in surprise. Then she and the bodyguard left. She said again, never to see her again. At this time her excitement level had already decreased. Increased by 10%. Lin Xin happily took the jade card. The warmth had a slight scent. In the big square, the giant colorful yellow towers, these structures looked so strange. At the foot of the tower everyone was having fun taking pictures. Lin Xin was now standing on the big stage. He used binoculars to look towards the tall building that was Pei Gang's headquarters. He looked at the building with his mind full of thoughts. Lin, according to information and documents of Feshiang Company, Pei Gang Group controls 4 major markets. Feshiang Company is only one of them. The structure of the Pei Gang general management system will be divided into 3 parts. On top will be the Pei Gang management layer. The bottom includes 3 small branches: primitive stone mining, human organ processing area and real estate control area. These 3 departments are all controlled by Pei Gang. At the bottom is Feshiang Company Jiang Fu disease. Looking at such a diagram, Lin Xin couldn't help but think. The management consists of the boss and several senior elders. The internal relationships within the group are complex. While there appears to be a trend towards whitewashing before, inexplicably, they have embarked on a spree of reckless wealth accumulation and committed numerous crimes during this time. You remember the conversation with the police? You wanted to go to Myanmar to participate in the Pei Gang's corporate congress. Actually, you got the evidence. Just keep committing crimes and the Pei Gang Company's documents have helped us a lot. Lin Xin crossed her arms in front of her chest with a face full of indignation. As a young man with ambition, I hate Myanmar's scam. This rare opportunity let me contribute a small part of my strength. I will definitely not refuse. The police officer touched his shoulder. Well said. We need enthusiastic young men like him. Another person held his hand tightly. No matter what, his own safety was the most important thing. If there was danger along the way, he could withdraw from the mission at any time. Come on, Lin Xin is full of confidence. Rest assured. Now he closes his eyes and thinks about what's coming next. Completes the mission and then goes out for a few days. If there is a romantic encounter. He turned around and saw a young girl with a smooth white waist. He couldn't help but peek. This girl was Mang. She was taking a selfie with this pure and innocent beauty that was hard to resist. Okay again, Lin Xin looked up at her. Her voluptuous appearance, this hot body made it difficult for him to take his eyes off. He opened his eyes wide to look at this strange girl, his mouth constantly exclaiming. Suddenly she slipped and fell down. Lin Xin reacted very quickly and rushed to help this beautiful girl into his arms. She fell into Lin Xin's arms. He kindly asked her. She was not bleeding anywhere. She immediately reacted. She stood up and bowed to thank him. It's okay. She threatened me to death. Fortunately you saved me. But at this time Lin Xin's eyes were focused on into the chest of the girl in front of him. It seemed like he didn't hear what she said. He thought to himself, oh my gosh, it was actually a vacuum. Are Myanmar girls really that open? Then the girl excitedly introduced. My name is Mang. What is your name? Lin Sin now coldly replied. Call me Lin Sin. She was surprised, of course. Did you come to travel? Lin Sin's face was impassive. Then Armang pulled Lin Sin's hand. Then you definitely can't miss this. Follow me. You two go everywhere. People were splashing water on each other. It was extremely bustling. Wow, this is a water festival. It's so grand. Lin Sin suddenly had a bucket of water thrown in his face. Then Armang looked at him and winked. During the festival, if you splash this water, people who don't actively attack others will become targets for everyone to attack. Then he immediately picked up a basin of water with an excited expression. Very good. Then he fell on Armang. Two people laughed and joked very happily. Then someone sprayed a water hose on her, making her startled and screamed. Another person splashed water on her face in surprise. Then Lin Sin looked at her wet face, immediately laughed loudly. His face was also wet at this time, and they played together until sunset. The two walked in a small alley. Armang held Lin Sin's arm. They looked like a newly in love couple right now. Armang was a bit angry at this moment. He still laughed. I fell so miserably and he didn't protect me. Lin Sin calmly said, Isn't it you who taught me? There are only people who attack and are attacked. Labor. Then Armang rubbed his hand. Are you happy today? He replied excitedly. Very happy. Still, thank you for taking me to the water festival. Then she smiled. Happy is okay. Suddenly the two discovered that the street was a dead end. Right at this moment a car stopped behind them and they were startled and turned around. Two thugs with cigarettes in their mouths got out of the car. They probably had weapons in their hands. Not a good person. Not bad Armang. At this moment Armang no longer had the innocent look from before but became scary. Exaggeration. I'm a professional. This is our reward, golden pig, it's doubled. Lin Sin heard that. His face turned pale. At this time Armang used his index finger to gently touch Lin Sin's chin. Brother, are you very disappointed? Are you very surprised? Just the performance that he was looking forward to the most was gone. Lin Sin was cold at this moment. Surprise was not surprising. Perfumers basically knew that traveling to Myanmar would be at risk of being caught. I lost my kidney, but it's a pity that a beautiful girl like you has to do this kind of work. Armang now looked at Lin Sin affectionately, her hand gently loosening the collar to reveal her white chest. Or is it, like this? You give me 100 million in flowers and I can let you enjoy it before you die. At this time a guy with a gun said, Armang, if he dares to give it, do you dare to accept it? The boss knows you stole it. Pig's money. You will have a layer of skin peeled off. Okay, do it quickly. Then he tied Lin Sin's hands. Lin Sin now voluntarily got into the car and the guy pointed the gun at him and laughed. Also obeyed. At this moment, it's full of sharpness, wasting words, being held at gunpoint but can't listen. Lin Sin sat in the car and looked out the window thinking. I heard that everywhere in Myanmar is a scam. Sure enough, no, very surprising. Although there was a slight deviation from the plan, there was still a few hours until the shareholders' meeting. Let's just play with them for a while. A factory. The faint lights reflected through the window. In front of the yard, two trucks were parked with a few people. The car rushed to open the door. 3 people got out. Lin Sin with his hands tied heavily followed the other guy shouting. It's here. Get off. 2 people stepped out aggressively. One was Dao Tuo. Next to him he is a henchman who is giving water. That is the owner of the ice shop from the other day. The boss is really effective. Dao Tuo put his hands in his pockets and laughed loudly. Brother, your ice shop was attacked by this kid. Damn, looks very chicken. Lin Sin surprised. Isn't this that obnoxious boss? The other boss aggressively pointed his finger at Lin Sin, shouting loudly. The perfume boy is very arrogant. Right, now it has fallen into my hands. Boss Dao Tuo gave me a knife. Dao Tuo patted his brother's shoulder and smiled mysteriously. What's the hurry? Brother, don't forget the terms of this transaction. Wait until I drain all his money, then everyone belongs to you. At this time Lin Sin looked at the man in front of him and thought. According to Feshiang Company's documents, this black pig is one of the elders of the Pei gang. I didn't expect to meet him here. Boss. Behind the organ processing area his name is Dao Tuo. The ice shop owner laughed loudly. Does the kid know the outcome when he pokes me? Continue, come experience the most painful moment of your life. Lin Sin stood still without saying anything. The inside was now like a detention area. The warden shouted, men on the left. Women on the right. Women beautiful. Then check the people arrested here all share the same fate as Lin Sin. Everyone has tired and sullen faces. The screams of the manager. And the screams of the girls with fate. The tragic fate created a terrifying scene that made everyone scared. This side in the operating room. Everyone was doing surgery. A young man's blood was splattered everywhere. The scene was so scary. The hallway. Everyone was taking Lin Sin on a tour. Mang spoke up. What? Are you afraid of peeing your pants? Now give me your bank card password. Then call all your relatives and friends to borrow money. The boss walked in front and spoke to the back. Maybe he could avoid physical pain. Lin Sin smirked. A person behind him said. So he can still laugh. Lin Sin smiled coldly. Because I thought of something quite interesting. He remembered the police's advice. It would be very convenient for these traffickers to be handed over to the Myanmar police. This is a custom-made tracking device. With a credibility layer on top. Even if the signal is a tester. It can only be considered a normal metal button. The police officer said, when you are in danger, open the signal insulation layer. We will immediately find the location of you and quickly go to the rescue. Lin Sin thought to himself. Observe them all first and then notify the police. Well, just follow the 10 cruel punishments and finish the sentence to deal with them one by one. Dao Tuo shouted loudly, don't talk nonsense and execute him right away. In front of the big burning pan. The gunman smiled smugly. Okay, boss. I also want to see his miserable scream. At this moment, Mang raised a piece of heated iron close to Lin Sin's face. What is the bank card password? Lin Sin was not afraid, but instead smiled lightly. Come over here a little later. I'll tell you. I'll bring the burning hot piece closer. If you dare to use any tricks, I will press it on your forehead. At this moment the gunman is holding Lin Sin's neck with one hand and the other hand is holding the gun to his head. He is not playing tricks, okay? Lin Sin was not afraid at this moment. He thought to himself, come a little closer. It only takes 3 seconds for everyone here to have to. At this time, because his neck was being tightened, the jade pendant that Wei Shuman gave him fell off. Out. The jade pendant fell to the ground in front of everyone's surprise. Mang was surprised. She pulled the hot iron back. At this time Lin Sin didn't understand why. Mang bent down to pick up the jade pendant and looked at him with wonder. I'm sorry. Why is this thing on your person? At this moment, Dao heard it and immediately ran to him in shock. He pushed the henchman away. This jade card is. At this moment a long slender hand opened the car door. That person was Wei Shuman. She and her bodyguards walked over. Dare to touch my person. Wei Shuman walked over and they moved to one side in fear. The atmosphere was extremely tense at this time. She asked Lin at this time Sin. She's not injured anywhere. Lin Sin was bewildered. It was her. At this moment, Lin Sin moved her hand to break the bracelet that was tied tightly on her hands. Her voice full of reproach. She came at the wrong time. She almost missed it. Then I reached the precept of killing and you forcibly cut me off. Wei Shuman smiled. What should I say, or I have ruined your good deeds? Aren't you afraid? Lin Sin sighed. It's just a bunch of miscreants. Wei Shuman thought to himself. He also has guts. At this time her excitement level has increased by 1%. Dao Tuo's eyes were full of anger. It turned out he was as the eldest sister's person. No wonder she has such audacity. The boss shouted loudly. It turns out it's because of a rotten woman. You're here to deal with me. Right, boss Dao Tuo, don't be so polite to her anymore. After that a series of people on Mrs. Wei's side raised their guns and screamed. What kind of thing are you talking to the eldest sister-in-law? Dao Tuo's people on this side are no less. I'm afraid you're coming. This time Wei Shuman shouted loudly. Put down all the guns for me. Have I forgotten all the rules that Chanu set out? At this moment Dao Tuo raised one hand. Now show the big sister face. The conference is about to start. I also hope you can always be our big sister. See you soon. At this time Wei Shuman's people turned around and left. Let's go. At this time Wei Shuman said to Lin Sin. You find your own opportunity to leave. Lin Sin was surprised. Wei Shuman walked to her luxury car and thought to herself. Will things go smoothly? She sat in the car and couldn't help but think. Chanu, you died comfortably, but when I chose to be your woman I predict that one day. At worst, the fish will die and tear the net. At this time Lin Sin suddenly sat on the car, making Mrs. Vi extremely panicked. Why did she get on the car? Do you want to die? Lin Sin's voice was full of teasing tease. This deserted mountain. Where should I go to find a car? Give me a ride. At this time Wei Shuman shouted. Don't misunderstand. I only saved you because you were implicated in helping me at the Jade market. I came to save you just to repay the favor. I almost have to go to a more dangerous place, so don't get out of the car quickly. Lin Sin closed her eyes. Even if she let me go now, she would think it was something named Dao Tuo and that Jade boss will forgive me. Why is it safest to follow you now? Wei Shuman didn't know what to say. Helpless before the young man. Drive. Good luck to you then. At this time, at the Pei Gang headquarters building, the sparkling lights inside were holding an extremely exciting shareholder meeting. At this time Gedenwei put his elbows on the table, his face full of tension. Feshiang Company, what are you doing? But until now still cannot be contacted. I wonder if there is a meeting today. He is Gedenwei, primitive stone excavation site. This side Chin Pleiades, real estate control site. Not angry at all, he is against the back of his hand on his cheek. It's okay, they're just making a bridge abroad. If it doesn't work then change it and tell them if they don't come today then they won't have to show up again in the future. At this moment Dao Tuo spoke up. Why care about those small things? Why is the main character here today? At this moment Lin Sin smiled softly and thought. All the actors have arrived and the good drama is about to start. At this time, Wei Shuman slammed his hand on the table impatiently. If everyone has arrived then let's start. Pei Gang's traditional annual corporate benefit meeting should be led by the leader. Chanu presided, but unfortunately 5 days ago he was killed by an explosion on a private train. At this time her eyes became even sharper. So, today's meeting with you elders is basically a Hongmen banquet for me. You're aiming to usurp power, aren't you? At this time Gedenwei burst out laughing provocatively. I just like people with straightforward personalities like Big Brother. So I won't beat around the bush anymore. Although Big Brother Chanu passed away, we are very sad, but Pei Gang cannot be without a leader for one day because of the stability of Pei Gang. Today we must choose a new gang leader. Chin Pleiades frowned. This word usurpation should have been isn't it right to use it on the eldest sister-in-law? The three of us are all elders who built Pei Gang and old Chanu unfortunately passed away. Isn't it natural for us to take over? At this time, Mrs. Vi shouted angrily. She remembered the explosion on that boat. Unfortunately passed away and was able to plant explosives on Chanu's private yacht knowing his itinerary the only person who could do all this was only 3 people. Yes, I can confirm that the murderer is one of you. At this moment the 3 people looked at her in panic. Dao Tuo clapped his hands. The sister-in-law said it well. Let's do this. Wait until I become the gang leader then we'll definitely mobilize all of Pei Gang's resources to coordinate with her to investigate the real culprit behind Big Brother Chanu's death. At this time the whole hall laughed loudly. Lin Sin couldn't help but think. Then Sir Chanu is their boss and this person is already dead. Originally planning to arrest this mysterious boss and hand it over to the police. It's true that the plan can't keep up with changes. Lin Sin looked at everyone. Observed more. Let's go. Wei Shuman shouted angrily. Have you all forgotten? That year Chanu built Pei Gang. Building a career with nothing is a country where everyone lives and dies to have. Her remember the painful images when people were arrested and shot to death. But also because of the violence. Countless brothers were killed and injured. And also arrested and shot to death. Now times have changed. What we do is no longer about robbing by force. But about protecting our inheritance. Finding the right path. And our last wish before Chanu passes away is to hope that Pei Gang will return to the right path and do things. Legal business. Although he was also killed. Because of that, I will carry out his will and find the culprit to revenge him. At this time everyone outside shouted loudly. We support you. You said, yes, the era of fighting and killing has passed. At this time Lin Sin's eyes were opened. He exclaimed in surprise. This big sister's aura is really top. Chin Pleiades couldn't hear it and immediately became angry. Has Pei Gang's stance changed for many years just because of her one sentence? Gedenwei sat with his arms crossed and looked at her with thorny eyes. Wei Shuman hasn't been married to Chanu for a year yet. Chanu already wants to purge. Have you whitewashed Pei Gang? Everyone, think about it. This is not suspicious. After all this is all because of you playing tricks. Right, so to speak. Your suspicion is the biggest. You want to destroy Pei Gang. Wei Shuman couldn't sit still anymore. She clapped her hands and shouted loudly. He said it again. Dao Tuo smiled proudly. Sister-in-law, I heard that today you ran to the Jade market to bet on stones because you had no money, right? No matter what business we do, it's all about making a living. How do you rely on making everyone eat well and drink well? Just rely on your diligence in assessing that cat-scratching kick. Chin Pleiades also added side note. Women are women, and want to do business with Pei Gang. In my opinion, whoever becomes the new gang boss, you will follow that person. And you can still keep your position as big sister. This time her officer got angry and immediately raised his gun to his mouth and shouted. Chin Pleiades, how dare you talk to the big sister like that? Suddenly a gun pulled the trigger and shot out with a bang. The bullet shot straight into the eye. The bodyguard's left side was splattered with blood. Shocking Wei Shuman. The one holding the gun was none other than Chin Pleiades. He placed his feet on the table majestically. A bodyguard dared to point at me. At Hey Gedan Wei walked towards Wei Shuman and smiled smugly. Wei Shuman, you don't need to investigate anymore. Chanu was killed by me. He's about to go into the coffin and he still wants to whitewash Pei Gang. If he doesn't die, then how much? Pei Gang's thousands of brothers all no longer have food to eat. Then he approached Wei Shuman and reached out his dirty hands to caress her beautiful face. It would be a pity for her to be such a beautiful widow. Be my woman, I can make you forget Chanu for just one night. At this time Wei Shuman's eyes were full of hatred. Her hand pulled out a remote control. He finally admitted it. She shouted, echoed throughout the building. I already knew that all three of you had a part in killing Chanu. Dao Tuo, where do you think I would use the money? I bought all the explosives. She continued to scream with the confusion of the three of you. Put in this whole building. Pei Gang, either die or withdraw from Pei Gang. I give you 10 seconds to decide. At this time the bodyguards outside are extremely scared. This what? Damn, I don't want to die. At this moment Lin Sin was bewildered. Oh my god, is this woman so evil? But if we really blew up this building, it would save a lot of trouble for the police. I need to run out the window. This level 7 physical strength can still withstand jumping from the 5th floor. Gedan Wei looked at her challengingly. She pressed it away. Her eyes were now shocked and didn't know what to do. The bodyguards who had been bribed by the other side all left to clear the mines. I'm so sorry, big sister. Boss Gedan Wei gave us more. It's true, white-eyed wolves. At this time 3 men surrounded Wei Shuman. She kept pressing but couldn't. Gedan Wei smiled smugly. Wei Shuman, don't press anymore. You know, tell your little brother to go if I set explosives. I also know how to buy your little brother to remove the mines. This money is well spent. Lately, if you want to be a boss, you have to have money. Wei Shuman knew that her plan would not succeed. She helplessly slammed her hand on the table and gritted her teeth in anger. Gedan Wei stood in front of Chin Pleiades with an arrogant and cocky attitude. Although Chanu was the boss, his prestige was still there. But the three of them, if I join forces, the person with the right to speak is still in my hands. He stretched out his hands, as if he could grasp the sky. And the most important thing is, the brothers who follow me have money and meat. I followed you. These words are really very attractive. Aren't they delicious bait? Dao Tuo touched his bearded chin. Looking a bit wobbly, Gedan Wei took a few steps forward. Punching his chest, confidently added, my rough stone quarry business earns 870 billion a year. I should be the boss of the gang. There should be no problem. This amount of money he converted into flowers is nearly 30 billion. Dao Tuo was immersed in the dream of wealth, smiling happily, sticking out his tongue. Of course he supported it. He was a bit hesitant. It's just a pity that my sister-in-law is so beautiful. I also want to taste it. Gedan Wei knew that Dao Tuo would say that, so he added, it's easy. I'll let Shuman take turns serving us. A burst of laughter erupted, as expected of a big brother. Wei Shuman sat still like a placed doll inside the glass display case. He was really angry to the point that his forehead was covered in blue veins. His face was dark, his hands were clenched into fists. But he could only stand still and listen to that group of disgusting men laughing and joking with each other. Dao Tuo, Mister, how long has it been targeting Shuman? Let's be honest. The other person grinned and showed a very lewd expression. It started from the day she married Chanu. When Chanu was young, he didn't know how to control himself. So he screwed up. A long time ago. Schumann married him, probably hasn't used it many times. He was so happy that his legs wanted to jump. So isn't it almost intact? Hey, the gang leader you already married. Schumann should let me go first. Will you? Schumann used force. His nails pierced his skin to the point of drawing fresh blood. Suddenly, a man's voice came from the top of her head. And at the same time, she felt the temperature of a man's hand on her shoulder. It's not the time to despair. No matter what I say, I'll cooperate. With me. Lin Sin jumped over the table. He was wearing a simple black t-shirt with shorts. Sandals on his feet, comfortable as if he were at home. He walked up to those three fat guys, asking to join. I want to join too. As the leader of the pay gang, Gedenwei looked at him with contempt. Motherfucker, who are you? Everyone around was surprised, so tense that they forgot to breathe. Dao Tuo spoke first. This is the person Wei Schumann just took in. Very arrogant. Gedenwei coldly snorted, pointed his finger and shouted. Reckless guy. Kill him. Lin Sin slowly pulled out a contract agreement. I am Wei Schumann's man. Open your dog eyes to see what this is. Qin Pleiades held the contract in his hand. Dao Tuo glanced over. Both gasped. In unison. You are the new shareholder of Fexiang Company. The surrounding viewers also shouted. What? Even Armang and Wei Schumann were shocked beyond words. Qin Pleiades secretly wiped sweat. Even though it's a photocopy. This contract is real. Dao Tuo angrily banged on the table. Glaring at you, kid. I don't know what trick you're playing to deceive us all. But I can tell, let me tell you clearly. Even if you are a shareholder of Fexiang Company, the position of gang leader is not your turn. Fexiang Company is just a foreign company. Making that little money is not enough to fill your teeth. There is no place here. Let you talk. Go away about your perfume. There is no place for you to talk here. Lin Sin lowered her eyes. Her attitude up until now has been extremely calm, even though public opinion is and has been. Dao Tuo pulled towards him. What does a perfume person look like in our pay gang? If you don't go anymore, I will break your eyebrows. Wait for them to finish. Then he will answer, each sentence and each word uttered. It's so light. It's like just eating a cake and drinking a cup of tea. So I just need to make a lot of money to be a boss. So I can just support my sister-in-law. Wei Schumann was stunned. People. Their cheeks suddenly felt hot. Gedenwei gritted his teeth. What do you mean? Lin Sin started to attract allies, completely ignoring the expression on his face. If you can make the brothers earn money to eat meat, buy new welfare, is the king, then you should choose me with your sister-in-law. He put one hand in his pocket, the other hand raised into 5 fingers. Because in my hand there is a big piece of cake. And moreover, I am the one with the real power to lead. The guys went together to make money. The whole hall was silent for a while, then burst into laughter. Gedenwei held his stomach and laughed like he was losing control. Some people even shed tears. Most of them were mocking laughter. I had big piece of cake. Your Fexiang Company has more strength than me. Dao Tuo clenched his fist, pointed his thumb at himself. His face wrinkled like a crumpled piece of paper. Then I will let you die clearly. Open your dog eyes and look clearly. My organ processing area, the annual income is 1.8 billion in flower money. Qin Pleiades also follows suit. My real estate control floor. Every year 2 billion 5 in flower money. Gedenwei stands in the middle. He holds his head high. His back is as straight as a column. He holds out his hands. Extremely arrogant. Gedenwei, I am the place that earns the most money in the 4 districts. Income per year reaching billions in flower money. Wei Schumann took a deep breath. She thought to herself, it's over. Fexiang Company's annual financial report only earned 100 million in flower money at most. Qin Pleiades crossed her arms. You guys take it again. Several security guards outside also followed the command and ran over. Lin Sin was not surprised nor showed any other emotions on his face. He waved his hand at the crowd. He was in charge of the financial department. There, you come here. He pointed blankly at himself. Then slowly walked past. Lin Sin pulled out a black card with a shiny gold border. Put it on the payment machine. The transaction amount was 5 billion in flowers. He held the card with 2 fingers. As if the winner looked at the generals. Defeated at my hands. This 5 billion is the sister-in-law for the brothers to drink tea. Everyone has a share. Qin Pleiades, Dao Tuo, Gedenwei are frozen on the spot. Even Wei Schumann is stuttering. I invite you. Even the people around me were listening, not knowing if they had heard wrong or if that kid really had such high prestige. 5 billion in flowers. T. What the heck? I figured. The math is not good. Can anyone tell me how much is divided? Another person immediately took out the phone and pressed frantically. Let me calculate. The entire pay gang has more than 3,000 people. Each person can be divided. More than 1400.000 in flowers. Some people are talking nonsense. Damn it, being a little brother can't earn that much money in your whole life. Lin Sin approached the three of them, smirking. What? You guys, someone also took a few billion for the brothers to drink tea. Only to see those guys let out a few indistinct sounds. Lin Sin clenched his fist, one hand pointing to the sky, as if the captain was steering his ship out. It's so far away, you can't get it out. So I said the person drawing the cake was right. You guys follow the big sister. From now on we will all be able to eat meat plated with gold. There will be no more danger. There will be no more. No one will be arrested anymore. No one will be in jail. There will be no more internal fighting and killing each other. From now on we can get high salaries. Enjoy life. This is the path that the big brother will take. And old brother Chanu wants to take everyone away. Now how do you choose? Such a beautiful prospect. Who wouldn't want to experience it? Not to mention the 5 billion in flower money already given. What reason is there to unbelieving? The whole crowd rushed out like bees from a hive. Big sister, you will always be our big sister. Big sister, I was wrong. Just a temporary confusion. I will follow you until the end of my life. Feeling the fat rising to the mouth and being scraped off with the upper hand. Of course the anger of the three old men couldn't be swallowed. Everyone's face was stewing as if they had just been in a sauna. Wei Shuman couldn't believe her eyes. She had regained her prestige. Soon many people were surrounding her. She looked towards Lin Sin. Just 1 or 2 words from this man had changed the whole world. The situation was changed. What background did he have? Lin Sin looked at the whole situation being turned around by him like a pinwheel. He couldn't help but laugh. His chest was heaving. The black gang is the black gang. Right, any meaning is just words on the lips. As long as you have money you will immediately turn into an idiot. Dao Tuo covered half of his face, restraining himself so as not to go crazy. He growled every word. Big sister, what a master. No wonder Chanu listens to you like that. This Lin Sin must be the chess piece you've been arranging for many years. Right, okay, we've all been plotted by you. Wei Shuman blinked, a question mark in his head. What the hell is this crazy guy talking about? Chin Pleiades stood in the middle, pointing, shouting until his voice was hoarse. Why are there more words to her? Now there is only force is the only way to be moral. Come up for me. And then a group of people with iron rods ran out. They must have been prepared for this situation. Lin Sin raised his eyebrows. He came at the right time. He put his hands in his pockets pants, pointing at the other person. And I block in front of Shuman. The brothers avenge boss Chanu. The life of those 3 guys is a 100 million reward. Sister-in-law said to do it now. She stands behind as weak as a little rabbit. Her heart was frantically refusing. When did she ever say to give 100 million in flowers? And the brothers around were really rushing in to avenge the boss or for that 5 billion cup of tea. No one knew. One was using a gun. The other was holding a knife. Every time they saw it they stabbed. Every time they saw it they shot. The whole hall turned into a war zone. The minute fresh blood soaked the floor. The fishy smell rising up made people extremely nauseous. Lin Sin held Shuman's head, hugged her and lay down on the ground. Carefully, she was pressed to the floor by him. Their 2 faces facing each other. The atmosphere became strangely wonderful. One-legged Tan Tan leaned against Wei Shuman's thighs. This intimate action really made her startled. He looked at the other person and explained, I can't care about your life or death in the current situation. Take care of yourself. Take good care of yourself. Gedan Wei suddenly came from behind. He pointed a gun at Lin Sin's head. You 2 dogs, go die. He immediately passed by, tossed a few coins at him. Gedan Wei withdrew his hand. The gun also fell out from his unconscious hand. A series of lightning-fast actions. Lin Sin picked up the other gun. Without hesitation, he shot at the old man. He skillfully pulled out the bullet box. In Wei Shuman's eyes, this man was somewhat trustworthy and worthy of her reliance. His favorability increased by 20%. Him, looking around, I saw a few sneaky people at the door planning to run away. Lin Sin jumped up, using his whole body to slide a long way while aiming and shooting. Until he ran down the stairs. A guy standing next to him. Then he pulled out his gun. Motherfucker. But before he could do anything, Ah Mang stabbed him in the middle of the stomach. Dao Tuo was surprised. He shouted, "Ah Mang, you." The girl with pink-white skin is now tinted bright red blood. Ah Mang without hesitation stabbed Dao Tuo. Lin Sin took small steps towards. Hey, stop. Don't kill. She held the bloody knife with both hands. Knelt down like the puppy obeys when he sees his owner. Sir, if you hate me, you can kill me if you want. Lin Sin looked at the girl who was excitedly hugging her leg in doubt. Hating her, why? Ah Mang put her bloody hand on her face. Her whole face smiled crookedly. She shook the knife in her hand. Don't you blame me for tricking you. Thank you, sir. I want to follow you. Be my most loyal, most obedient dog. Because I'm really cool. Her tone is not like an ordinary person. Like someone with a mental illness. Lin Sin looked at Ah Mang confused. Oh my god, this girl's personality is really crazy. He looked towards Dao Tuo. He had already passed out. I don't know if he was still alive or not. Let's put it aside for now. She had more important things to do. The door suddenly opened wide. The police rushed in from outside. Ah Mang was restrained. A member of the Pei gang was discovered. Next to him was Dao Tuo. Shen Radong, mobilized manpower, found the spy, immediately protected him. She frowned, extremely worried for his safety, and blamed herself. I should not have agreed to let him participate in this dangerous mission. What if he, Lin Sin, don't let anything happen to you? Your favorability will also increase by 10%. Wei Shuman stood next to his junior. In the large hall the dead bodies were piled up looking like dried fish. Lin Sin ran in from outside, bending her legs, as if she had encountered something dangerous. A group of policemen were at the main door downstairs. You quickly go. Shuman looked in the direction of his hand. Nodded. What? So let's go quickly. Lin Sin is at the head of the group of brothers. I and all the brothers are behind to support you. Take advantage of the time you have to get on the helicopter on the rooftop and go. They also in unison, swearing to the death to protect the eldest sister-in-law. Wei Shuman's eyes moved slightly. His heart actually fluttered a bit. Favorability plus 10%. Current favorability is 41%. Lin Sin feels I'm so talented. This arrangement is really perfect. I stood still, silently smiling to myself. It's so embarrassing, guys. After all, none of you are clean. If you commit a crime, you should be punished. So you guys just stay here, under the pressure of the police. As for Wei Shuman, if she stays here, her life will be in danger, in case a fish slips through net. Moreover, I spent 5 billion on her. If she's already in jail, how can I spend the money? The remaining young men looked at him in confusion. Mr. Lin, his smile is so scary. While Lin Sin was in thought, someone grabbed her collar and carried her away. The quiet night was torn apart by the sound of the helicopter. The wind blew loudly. The helicopter flew away, successfully escaping. Wei Shuman leaned back in his chair. Sorry, I couldn't let the benefactor save my life. I can't stay in danger. Pressed his hand against the door again. In his eyes were the colorful sparkling lights of the brilliant city. Now the Pei gang was considered to have been completely destroyed. That was fine. Well, compared to blowing it up yourself. Now, she put her hand on her chin. Thoughtful, there is one more thing. No matter what, I want to know, why did you help me? You in the end, who is it? Lin Sin put her hands behind her head. Comfortable position. Oh, this is not important. Thought to herself. If I let you know that I am a spy for the police, I will definitely scare you falling from the helicopter. Shuman blinked and repeated his words. It doesn't matter. She lowered her eyes. Sadly, yes, it doesn't matter. She moved closer to Lin Sin. She raised her body above him. Their eyes met. The tip of her nose seemed to touch the tip of his nose. The atmosphere became extremely dark. You know why I married her? Chanu, no. Because I like men who are truly strong, ambitious, scheming and crazy. Wei Shumeng, I was born to be the woman of such a man. She put her hand on her chest. You. Unfortunately, I didn't meet you at the right time. Lin Sin was cold. We wouldn't see each other again after getting off the plane. Suddenly the helicopter wobbled. Something broke on the window glass that was shot to pieces. What? Everywhere shook violently. The upper rotating part was also shot off. The plane crashed and then night surrounded the forest. The helicopter was stuck on the treetops engulfed in flames. Lin Sin and Wei Shuman were lucky to escape before there were any casualties. He clicked his tongue. This time it's troublesome. A few hours ago, when Wei Shuman was lying on top of Lin while still on the helicopter, there was a huge explosion outside. The windows shattered. Chin Pleiades held a long gun in his hand. Even though his whole body was covered in injuries, he still kept aiming at the helicopter. Flying in the sky, dog men and women, even if I die, I have to drag you with me. Shenna Adong also ran, aiming accurately at the person in front. Chin Pleiades was shot through the heart. He spat out some. The last mouthful of blood was forcibly taken away by the police. The helicopter wobbled, couldn't keep its balance, and lowered its head. It was dead. The rotor was on the tail. Lin Sin ran to look through the window away from the cockpit and saw that the operator was not breathing. There were a few people around. Long trail of blood. The operator was also hit. Shuman shouted, "What?" The inside was shaking crazily. Shuman grabbed his arm, wrapped his arms around the opponent's neck, his eyes carrying some regrettably. It seems that today it will be difficult to escape this fate. If I have to die anyway. Finished speaking, she used force to force Lin Sin to bend down, while she herself stood on tiptoe and placed her lips on his face. A kiss. The unexpected kiss made him widen his eyes in surprise. The tail of the helicopter sparked a few sparks, spreading everywhere. The two lips lingered for a few minutes. After a long time they regretfully let go. Out. Shuman was satisfied. Now doing this, it's not bad to be a ghost. Lin Sin quickly regained his breath and calm. He took her hand that was still on his chest. The other hand wrapped around his shoulder. Hold on. Whether it's life or death, I can't say for sure yet. Shuman was stunned. His cheeks were unconsciously burning. Was there a need to act so cool? Favorability plus 10%. Wei Shuman's favorability now it's 51%. He kicked the door, hugged the other girl in his arms. His voice was drowned out by the sound of the propeller, but because the distance was very close, she could hear it. Hug her a little tighter. I'm ready. Jumped here. Wei Shuman followed his instructions and used more force. She screamed in fear, jumped out of the plane. But even if it was above the sea level, she would die. I don't want to turn into a meat cake on my face. Where is the sea? He prepared his position, now at a lower altitude of 30 meters. Lin Sin jumped down without hesitation. Her hair was blown up by the wind. Shuman buried her face in his neck, so scared that the soul was lost, screaming until it was hoarse. 30 meters below, both fell into the sea, destroying the peaceful calm of the sea surface at night. Shuman fainted in his arms. On his skin, only a few scratches. If asked what's worse, it's just my body being soaked. A few minutes later, she opened her eyes and glimpsed half of the boy's face. He held her and walked a part of the way from the sea to the forest. When he saw the person below moving, he asked. She was awake. Shuman's heart felt like it was hanging on a fire. Just now she really bet with death. She stammered, "We're not dead yet." Lin Sin nodded. Yes. It's also lucky. The water falls near this deserted island, completely hiding the fact that he has a level 7 physical condition and is proficient in swimming. He put her down, pointed to the top of the tree above. The helicopter had completely broken down. Look, up there. Come back now. They after spending a cold night in deserted island. Lin Sin sat down on the grass, looking dejectedly at the pile of things left with her. I've already checked. The operator is dead. The radio power is also broken. And the bridge signal can't be sent out. Rescue outside. There is no food. I'm afraid we have to prepare here for a long time. Wei Shuman was not worried. She sat on a large rock, carefully observed the map, and combined it with the map and flight route of the helicopter. We are probably currently on an island northwest of Lilan Island. Here occasionally there will be fishing boats passing by. We just need to make a signal for help at the beach. Her voice was a bit choked. Her breathing was uneven but more rapid than before. Lin Sin noticed something unusual and immediately went to touch the other person's forehead. Not to mention the fact that her face was as red as a gauze. Her whole body was hot, like a furnace. He felt her pulse and frowned slightly, like a cold. Hey, it seems like he was scared by life and death, and then fell into cold water. He stood up, put his hands on his hips and looked around, wanting to find firewood to burn for warmth. When Schumann saw it, he quickly grabbed Lin's shirt. Sin, she panted. Come here, looking at her like that. Lin Sin is a little embarrassed. What's wrong? I'm just going to find some food and firewood. I'll be back soon. Wei Schumann pulled his collar, came down towards her. She suddenly kissed her. I don't know if it was because of her bad illness or what, but she kept doing embarrassing things like this. Schumann's eyes curled, looking at him deeply. Now, go away. Lin Sin touched her cheek. Their temperatures were opposite. He warmed her and cooled her down. Half joking, half serious. This is the eldest sister-in-law's way of showing concern. Her nose seemed to touch his. Smiling softly, she was about to die. Why did she still care about so many rigid rules? If God wanted me and him to be together, why didn't I do something that I want to do? Now I just want to be your woman. Favorability increased sharply, plus 20%. Wei Schumann's favorability was 71%. Lin Sin sighed, hugged and carefully kissed the other person's forehead. Schumann vaguely felt those soft lips rubbing against my skin. It turns out my sister-in-law is so generous. If I want to be my woman, I have to wait for her to recover and then say. Her face is already red and she's still trying to resist. Now she's here waiting for me. Be good. Is that okay? Being coaxed. Wei Schumann also nodded obediently. Okay, then I'll go home quickly. Half an hour later, Lin Sin walked around in the forest and luckily found some firewood. I pulled out the tracker to observe, but there was no hope that the police would follow this signal and save me. It seemed that the tracker had been damaged by seawater, but the police would probably go looking for me. Soared along the direction of the helicopter crash. To be optimistic, he could be rescued in a few days. He turned his eyes and saw a bamboo bush growing in the distance. There is bamboo. It's convenient to take some. Bed. Lin Sin squatted down. Fortunately, he had recently watched many videos on how to survive on a deserted island. This type of bamboo the size of a thumb is the most suitable for making a bed. Meanwhile, he not paying attention to the dangerous creature that was stalking her on the tree branch behind her. Wei Schumann drank water. Her body temperature rose. Her whole body was covered in sweat. Her breathing became hotter and hotter. She wiped her mouth. It's too hot. No, I can't just lie here forever. Time is precious. I have to do something. Schumann walked barefoot, with the other hand pulling a tree branch and walking with small steps. Because he was sick, resistance is extremely weak. Daily activities also take a lot of effort. Next to the beach is a sandy beach. Struggling for a while and finally able to write so's. The signal for help is very loud, so it must be in the opposite direction. It could be seen from afar. Wei Schumann went to the beach to find some food. Saw his whole body covered in mud, so he carefully placed his work on the shore. Then slowly unbuttoned his shirt. It was so dirty, it's convenient to take a shower. She sat on a large rock, took off her clothes. Suddenly a big wave came. She screamed. The moss sticks all over my body. Wei Schumann panicked, reached out to get her clothes back. It was true that God was teasing her. Otherwise why would he bring that wave to let it wash away her clothes? She turned around and around. Using the moss cover your body. Find some leaves to make clothes. Although it will probably be very uncomfortable. Lin Sin came from afar. He climbed over some rocks. Called out. Finally found her. Seeing a naked Schumann with his back facing him. He exclaimed. Are you taking a bath? She bent down, curled up to cover herself. I was not careful washing clothes and lost them. Don't look. Lin Sin put her hands behind her head. Just now she said she wanted to be my woman. Now I'm embarrassed again. He walked to the side, and immediately saw a large leaf nearby. There were a few crabs and snails of all kinds on it. It seems like he won't die of hunger today. Lin Sin said, oh, no, can't help but praise. These are all the things you're looking for. You're really good. You have a fever. Why are you still doing these things? Wei Schumann clung to the rock, looking thoughtfully into the distance. Since I was a child, having grown up by the sea, a poor child has to take care of housework from an early age. What does fever mean? Lin Sin silently observed the other person. For a moment not knowing how to answer, she turned to Lin Sin. That's right. Why did it take you so long to pick up firewood? Lin Sin exclaimed, pulling something again out. Oh, this python is so long. It takes a bit of effort to drag it back. The entire large sand beach is imprinted with traces of the python. About more than 10 meters. Fortunately it is dead. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened. What's going on? She stood up straight and wanted to see clearly. This scene was too absurd. What? Realized she was doing something embarrassing and immediately sat down, shyly hiding it. Lin, please sigh. That's not the way. I'll give you a set of clothes. The poor python was chopped into pieces. Lin Sin tore off its outer layer. A series of operations. Finally gave it to her. Try it. I've washed it. The python skin just like that became a dress. If it was displayed, how much could it sell? She was surprised. Turned around. I didn't expect it to actually be able to be worn. It also fits very well. He was satisfied looking at his masterpiece. After all, these large pythons can swallow an adult whole. Wei Shuman saw as if she had escaped a lifetime. She happily grabbed his arm, smiling brightly like a flower. He was really good. Her liking also increased by 10%. The sky gradually changed color. A brilliant orange-yellow color. The two of them pulled back together, laughing and talking. Let's go. Tonight we'll eat python meat and seafood. Shuman sat on the two-story bed that Lin Sin had made in the morning, his hands fondling the meat skewers. I was very curious about he was munching on food when he stopped. What should I say? Her long hair fell out under the light of the campfire. It made her look even more beautiful. Shuman held her chin and looked straight. Suddenly jumped out again, accepted Feshiang company, pretended to be a tourist and followed me to blend into the Pei Gang hall, easily turning the situation around. But caring about the Pei Gang being destroyed. What kind of person are you in the end? Lin Sin calmly continued his job of gnawing meat. I'm just an ordinary person with money. Shuman didn't mind. She leaned close. It's okay not to say anything. A strong man must always maintaining a mysterious feeling. I like it. I can say these things. Lin Sin is really helpless. At night it suddenly started raining. The fire was also extinguished. She raised her hand, regretfully. The fire. Lin Sin was preparing a place to sleep. There was no way. This tropical island often rains. Also just in anticipation. After eating, go to sleep. Two people lying in the same place. It's raining heavily. The night dew is very cold. Wei Shuman curls up, shivering like a kitten caught in the rain. I'm so cold. Lin Sin wrapped his arms around the girl next to him. I hugged her. Shuman gasped, slid his hand into the other person's shirt. He was so warm. Her voice was gentle and sweet. Really warm. Suddenly she kissed Lin Sin's collarbone, slowly moving her damaged hand all over her body. The teenager's body was exposed. His muscles were strong. Hey, you're sick now. Wei Shuman, turn over and lie on top of him. Put your hand over each other's mouth. Don't talk. Warm me up. Just like that the two of you stayed up all night warming each other. The women's wet cries mixed with the sound of falling rain, creating a sound. Strangely stimulating sound. 3 days later, a crew member saw a signal on the island and immediately announced that the captain on the island had a distress signal. They let the boat move closer. Quickly come to the rescue. It might be someone in distress who has been starving for several days. Quickly help them eat. They were kind enough to send a small boat to the rescue. But until when they got on the big boat, both people's faces were radiant, especially the woman next to them. Her skin was rosy and full of spring. Extremely grateful for everyone's help. The captain thought he had encountered 7 things. It's a mystery on a deserted island. Everyone looked at Shuman and Lin Sin in dismay. This is someone who was lost on the island for several days. Lin Sin scratched his head, thinking to himself, fortunately he can reach level 7. Otherwise can't hold back a young woman who has been in need of love for a year. The system screen appears. Wei Shuman's favorability has increased by 20%. Wei Shuman's favorability has reached 91%. Completed. During the first gameplay period. Spent 5 billion game money on Wei Shuman. Got a 10% refund. 500 million Chinese yuan was transferred to your personal account. Reward is +1 for all attributes and ranks. All attributes are currently level 8. Reward. Choose one of 3 skills. Make your choice within the time allowed. Proficiency in cooking skill level A, proficiency in dancing skill level B, mastery jumping rope skill level C. At Jiangpu Hospital. Thank you, Dr. Lu. You really have magic hands. He looked at the mother and son leaving and was so happy he wanted to jump up and look again after receiving a large amount of money from the idiot. The hospital corridor heard the sound of rapid footsteps. A few policemen walked over. He put a piece of paper in front of him. With a serious face. Based on the complaint of the public, our police department checked and verified that the director of Jiangpu Hospital, Director Liu, and other doctors seriously exaggerated the patient's condition in order to gain personal benefits, and committed illegal acts for medical fraud, forced transactions, colluding with Fexiang Company to smuggle human organs, and many other crimes. Starting today, sealing the hospital. He panicked. Sharp, his face suddenly changed. What? When I remember that time, I held my head and cried. It was the acupuncture boy that day. A week ago at the film and television facility in Yanjiang City. Miss Shi, there was a boss. The Zhang family wants to cooperate with you. Shi Luobing held the script in his hand. Nodded. Well, I'll go see him now. There was filming in the room. So the two of them went to a corner of the room and said hello to Boss Zhang, wondering what kind of cooperation he wanted to discuss. Mr. Zhang grabbed her hand, unconsciously smiled, thinking to himself, this Shi Luobing's hands are so soft. He clasped his hands behind his back and walked to the studio. This was the filming location of Miss Shi. As expected, it wasn't a big project at all. The scene was set up in a small room, followed by lights and a few other miscellaneous things. He squinted. Compared to the other scene was much more advanced. He said contemptuously, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Shi's production capital for this movie is 2,000. Right, if you want to make money. It's very difficult. Thinking about it, it's obvious that you took the opportunity to hot search to earn it. Hundreds of thousands to film this project. It is true that poverty can be seen with the naked eye. Having had to listen to him ramble for a while now, Shi Luobing was really upset in her heart. She looked serious. Boss Zhang just said whatever he wanted to say. Just say it directly, as if pressing a switch. Boss Zhang turned back to look at her, patting his chest firmly, being told frankly by an honest person, I won't beat around the bush anymore. I invested 800,000 in this movie of yours as propaganda capital. Miss Shi also knows that right now, good filming is not as good as good propaganda. With my capital, I guarantee you will earn a lot. Shi Luobing was a bit dumbfounded. Repeat, 800,000. He chuckled, waved his hand as if telling her not to be so polite. His face was very smug. I know, this money came very timely. Right, there's no need to be so moved that you cry. Come at that time divided 3/7. My third aunt is 7. That's fine. The other person smiles cunningly, his eyes looking at her from top to bottom. Of course, it's not impossible for Miss Shi to get a higher share. Everyone is in the world. Miss Shi, understand. Her lips pursed into a curve. Shi Luobing crossed her arms, arched her body and looked at him with pitying eyes. It's so embarrassing. The investment capital for the network movie is 5,000,000 Vietnamese dongs from me. This sentence hit me hard. Into his brain. Is playing around like this just bringing humiliation on him? Shi Luobing waved his hand. Xiao Lin saw off the guests, leaving Boss Zhang frozen in place. Xiao Lin walked over and bowed. Mr. Zhang, please, he shouted later, still unable to believe his ears. How is it possible? The small company's investment in network movies has never been that high. I know, you want to raise the price. Right, this small scene also wants to cheat me of 5,000,000 capital. Get out of the way. If you tell me to go, I will go. I won't go. Xiao Lin frowned in annoyance. Name, this guy really has a thick skin. She pointed her finger. He was wrong. This entire video studio was covered by the company. This entire room several hundred meters wide had countless scenes being filmed. Boss Zhang gasped. She added, all the scenes here are the sets of our movie. So if you don't leave, you are committing the crime of arbitrarily breaking into someone else's personal space. Shi Luobing returned to the room. She took out her cell phone. Happily sent a message. Mr. Lin Sin, Xiao Lin's phone is closed tomorrow. Will you come over? The other person sent a selfie saying that he was preparing to go to Myanmar. It took a few days before I could return, and I told him not to miss any money for film propaganda, and asked to transfer some more money. Shi Luobing quickly texted to refuse, saying that there was more than 300 million left. Lin Sin advised her not to save. This time she must use all 200 million of the propaganda money. and then propagate the next episodes, which were originally propaganda. The next episode must cost at least 100 million. If she lacks money, she will find him. After texting, she will already be on the plane. She looked at the chat box in dismay. After all, is a person with power in the movie world. So she has to run, traveling all over the world. How could he have time to attend the closing ceremony of a small network movie? So, I can't let him down. I have to film this movie more perfectly. She clicked on the chat history, saw herself doing anything and reported it to him. Lin Sin even responded. Lin Sin did not hesitate to pour all his resources into her. The photos she took of herself while wearing her high school uniform. He also praised her very beautiful. All the internal conflicts. Lin Sin did not hesitate at all, but followed all your opinions. Was engrossed for a while when Seo Lin's voice rang out. Miss Shi, Miss Shi. Shi Luo Bing raised his head, in an extremely good mood. You called me. Seo Lin leaning against the wall, smiling teasingly. Wow, this smile of yours is even more difficult to force. It's your boyfriend. Shi Luo Bing awkwardly turned off the phone. It's not there. Why are you calling me? Seo Lin reluctantly. No more joking. The last 2 scenes are finished filming and it's time to get off work. Shi Luo Bing went out into the hallway, remembering Cha Cha and Lin Sin and thinking, that Cha Cha is his girlfriend. Right. Thinking as much as so what to do. What I need to do now is to film this movie well. Then pay Lin Sin. I've had this script for a long time and can't fail. Shi Luo Bing spent the whole day today. They're at the studio to film and discuss the script. Everyone on the set was also very serious. Everyone gave 200% effort. Time passed quickly. Very quickly it was the 5th day of the movie announcement countdown. The host looked at the paper in his hand, then turned to Shi Luo Bing sitting in the seat next to him. Dear viewers, this girl is Shi Luo Bing, the most recent famous star that Endless Entertainment invited to this episode. Welcome. She sat up straight, smiling gently. Hello everyone, I am Shi Luo Bing. The host shouted, Bing Bing, I feel like you're even more beautiful. As expected, the girl who works seriously is the most beautiful. In fact, I'm just one of those ordinary people who realized my dream. This time also because of the help of noble people. The other person exclaimed, heard that there are many people who want to sign a contract with her. She nodded, did not refute. Yes, but now I have my own film and television company. Although not big, but will also try to produce good films to respond to the audience's support. Shi Luo Bing clasped his hands and tilted his head to smile. The movie Little Han Resilient will soon be broadcast. Everyone must watch it. Somewhere else, on the big screen, Shi Luo Bing's image is being interviewed. On television, looking at her smile, Yan Jianzheng angrily threw the wine bottle at the screen. Motherfucker, clearly the prey is coming to me. He stomped his foot, kicking the girl in the face below me. But I don't know where the rich man came from to save her. Another girl dressed as a bunny was lying down to serve as a wine table for him. Her voice trembling. Mr. Yan, don't be angry. This time you won. You received 100 million in contract cancellation money. What did that bastard Shi Luo Bing do worth so much money? He frowned. The corners of his lips twitched. Luo Bing, I didn't expect that she would secretly seduce a wealthy person and then sell her body. I thought she was very pure. But the target Yan Jianzheng I've set my sights on has never fallen before. He grabbed the chain and pulled hard. That girl was dragged by the neck to her feet. Secretary Li, use that 100 million to take care of everything. No matter which rich tycoon he is. Dare to rob my people. I will use his money to attack him. His face. The girl replied. Yes. 2 days ago in the film editing room. Everyone was still editing and completing the rest. Shi Luo Bing exhaled. Tomorrow the film will air. Everything has to be checked and rechecked. It's impossible for problems to occur. Suddenly Seo Lin burst through the door. It's over, Miss Shi. You quickly read the news. The bolded title is Shi Luo Bing's true identity posted by an unknown account. Shi Luo Bing for the top position took the initiative to request the use of hidden rules. Oppress new people. Used lower class tricks. So she was soaked by the company. Now she has found new riches to support her. So she cancelled the contract with Tianhuang Entertainment Company. Also had an interview online. That girl cried on the air. And when she spoke she had a nasal voice. At that time we were in the same batch. My strength was even better than hers. But Shi Luobing relied on her family's authority, so she always spoke harshly to us, ordering us to work for her. We couldn't compare to her family background, so we didn't dare to resist. The other person wasn't much better. Her eyes were swollen, she was crying. One time she told me to go to a very far place to buy her a cake, causing me to miss a very important opportunity to try on glasses. In the end I found out that she did it on purpose. And moreover, she relied on hidden rules to get that role. Then, in order for me not to reveal the truth, she slandered me everywhere, causing my reputation to be tarnished. Destruction. A series of comments condemning Shi Luobing appeared. Disgusted and even tried to whiten himself, even selling his pure image. He must have played for 4 minutes behind his back. Right. Then started insulting the department her movie hasn't even been released yet. She's being raised by a sponsor but she's also filming to cheer her up. It's really ridiculous. Remember what Teacher La said. If you're being raised by a sponsor, don't say anything but have an independent personality. Shi Luobing widened his eyes and scrolled back and forth on the screen. Why is this happening? Xiao Lin held out the phone. Her whole body couldn't help but tremble. Even Yan Yingying also stood up to testify. The above video lasted more than 2 minutes. Yan Yingying dressed neatly, looked seriously at the camera. I can guarantee that what COC and Xiaodi said is true. Just stand from their perspective to think. You will know that they have how pathetic. Everyone was once a person with a dream. But in the race to pursue their dream, they were kicked out of the competition by others using despicable tricks. I don't know what they have endured over the years. No matter how I endure, I only know that I must be a strong support for them, giving them courage to expose this truth. These words were like adding fuel to the fire. Netizens erupted in a wave of condemnation. Vegetarian. Shi Luobing no longer has a name that fans admire. Now people only know her as an evil woman. I hope Shi Luobing gets out of the entertainment industry soon. Xiao Lin frantically checked the information. Cold sweat on her hands. Her fingers slipping all over the place. A-list perfume star, who won the national TV series viewership rating championship and was voted the best actress of the character award. Entertainment of 2020. Why did Yan Yingying do that? Obviously we have never offended her. Moreover, there are a few first-line and second-line actors who all like this video. Inner Shi Luobing almost collapsed in an instant. Was Mr. Yan. When Yan Yingying first debuted, it was thanks to Mr. Yan providing resources that she became famous. So this matter must have been arranged by Mr. Yan. Honestly, Shi Luobing was a little scared in her heart of the man with unable to cover the sky with one hand. She suppressed her voice. I also thought that Mr. Yan would not ignore me so easily. But I did not expect that he would choose this right moment. Xiao Lin quickly invite the professional PR team first. The girl quickly followed. Xiao Lin shouted loudly, "What 2.000.000 PR fees? It's not necessarily something that can be resolved. This is really blocking people's way of life." Xiao Lin gave phone Shi Luobing. The other end of the line continued. "Miss Shi, we are professionals. Frankly speaking, this incident is too noisy. There are many A-list artists speaking out. Money cannot solve it. We can only try our best. Shi Luobing has no choice. Can only rely on them. So I leave it to you." The bottom of her eyes flickered, remembering Lin Sin like a straw to save her. Network. Should I look for Mr. Lin Sin? She held the phone tightly in her hand. Her heart was confused. No. Besides looking for him to ask for money, what else could I do? Moreover, I couldn't get involved at this time. To him, I have to face this difficulty myself. The cell phone vibrated slightly. Shi Luobing hesitantly picked up. The other person's voice was cold. "Miss Shi, I'm from Art Love platform, now calling to announce that her movie had to be taken down. And the contract clearly stated that if the reason the movie couldn't be released was because of her, she had to compensate us 1 billion for breach of contract." Xiao Lin rushed over. "Miss Shi, it's over. Both Tengzun Video and Youku platforms have cancelled the contract with us. But not only can the movie not be broadcast, but we also have to pay compensation for breach of contract." A series of bad news came to her right before her heart was released. Shi Luobing immediately collapsed. Her shoulders were heavy. Miss Shi, return to the present." Shi Luobing locked herself up, not wanting to meet eye. The lights in the room weren't on. Everything was dark. She closed her eyes, but the sound was still ringing in her ears. Miss Shi, our movie has been removed from all platforms. Miss Shi, sorry, I've tried my best. Maybe someone spent a lot of money to buy a navy, so online opinion can't be reversed. Miss Shi, half of the people in our company have already resigned. After paying it all, we've run out of money for breach of contract for the platforms. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Is Secretary Li, the secretary next to Yan Jian Zheng? Shi Luo Bing, I know you're inside. I also know that you are very desperate now. The current you has been thrown away by the whole world, and you don't have a penny left anymore. Shi Luo Bing did not answer, still maintaining the curled up position, face down, on the knee, but Mr. Yan can still give her a chance. Mr. Yan is willing to let go of the past, accept her as an artist for his Tian Huang Entertainment Company, and even arrange for her some role for you to play. Don't you really like acting? Isn't it great to hear this news? Of course the current you is no longer worth the money. You know what Mr. Yan wants. Think to clarify. I called Mr. Yan. The secretary didn't hear back. Just said a few more words then left. Shi Luo Bing opened her cell phone. The light shone on her face. Inside was her image, and Lin Sin kiss in their roles. If in the end I still can't escape the fate of being a toy. She was silent. Then at least I have to give my precious thing to the person I like the most. On the other side, Lin Sin stuffed both hands pockets, cheerfully singing, saying goodbye to troubles, saying hello with all joy, returning home, happily, remembering that night. Wei Shuman nestled in his chest. She said she wanted to go to the Philippines to hide for a while. She raised her head. The shield on her body slid down to reveal her curves. That's right. Anyway, I'm wanted now. I need to avoid this storm. I dare to work again. Do you want to come to the Philippines with me? Lin Sin shook his head. I'll just let it go. Anyway, I won't be wanted for perfume. Shuman dived. Come on. You're so good. You're truly the man I'm looking at. Let's keep going. Lin Sin walked to the airport exit. Thinking back at that time, he conveniently gave her 200 million, hoping she would not arrested in the Philippines. At that moment my cell phone vibrated in my pocket. Hello, Shi Luo Bing. You called at the right time. I just returned home. A girl's voice rang out on the other end of the line. The voice was clear but suppressed. Mr. Lin Sin, sorry to bother you. Can you come to my house now? I have something important to do. Trong wanted to tell him. Lin Sin was dumbfounded. Okay, I'll go there now. When he arrived at the apartment it was getting late. He looked up at the building in front of him. Tu Bang's room was 306 on the 3rd floor. When as he was about to enter, there was a dark shadow in the distance. Lin Sin turned his head. Who? The mysterious person suddenly disappeared. He rushed forward, wanting to run. Suddenly the cabinet next to it fell down. Lin Sin quickly jumped onto the wall and quickly escaped. In front of him was a stranger with a camera on his chest. He was in the elevator. When the elevator door closed it and stuck out his tongue, raised his middle finger in challenge. He smiled complacently, huffing, wanting to catch me. Suddenly a hand was stuck in the gap of the elevator. Lin Sin used his force to pry the door open, revealing the mold. His face darkened. Why run? Let's talk. He shouted loudly. It seemed like this life was over. After getting out of the elevator in the 3rd floor hallway. His name was Zhao Wei. He was a paparazzi, specifically sitting here to watch Shi Luo Bing. But for the past 2 days she hasn't left the house. Zhao Wei walks obsequiously behind, covering her shorts, because she was scared of peeing in her pants. So she only took off her pants. Long story short, don't you know about the recent big drama? I felt like I could definitely hunt down some big secrets, so I came here. Lin Sin frowned and turned around to ask. What's the big drama? Let's talk in detail. Zhao Wei is also honest. It's like that. Outside the door of Shi Luobing's room rang out. Co Bing. It's me. She pulled the door handle. Lin Sin's eyes widened in surprise. Shi Luo Bing was wearing a tight red dress that hugged all the body. This outfit really only covers what needs to be covered. Everything else is exposed. She looked away, a bit embarrassed. Mr. Lin Sin, you trust me like that? Invested so much money in me. But I betrayed your trust. Moreover, I can't pay you this amount of money in my whole life. I really don't know if I can. What can I pay for? The me now has nothing left except myself. As she spoke, she lifted her skirt to reveal her white thighs. If you're willing, I can use my first time. Lin Sin blushed and stared at Shi Luobing. Oh my god, this figure is so sexy. That's not right. Quickly say something to stop her from taking off her clothes. Little Lin Sin spoke first. I am martial artists are not good at talking. It's true that these thoughts should not be shared with other girls. Quickly think. Suddenly Zhao Wei popped out from behind Lin Sin. Still holding the camera, excited. What? So the two of you still haven't used the hidden rule. Shi Luobing panicked and quickly turned away to cover your body. Lin Sin grimaced, poked the other person in the eyes. Don't look, followed by a scream by Zhao Wei. My eyes. Outside the apartment building were tinged with the dull yellow of the sunset. After calmly the three people sat down together to explain everything. So that's it. Zhao Wei he put his hands on his hips and looked at Shi Luobing who was sitting on a chair. At that time, he had wrapped his whole body in a towel. He was so young, but he didn't expect that he was the mastermind behind Shi Luobing. But the two of them were in a normal investment partnership. Usually, this soap story was arranged by Mr. Yan of Tianhuang Entertainment. Lin Sin breathed a sigh of relief. That's it. You said you were a famous paparazzi. Then you can write news about the event. Really no, of course I won't let you work for free. After all, this article of yours will offend the boss of a famous travel company. Zhao Wei thought for a moment. This is a good opportunity. In my hand I have documents from many years ago because I was afraid of Yan Jianzheng's influence in the world, so I didn't dare to publish them. Now I finally have a place to use them. Zhao Wei looked serious and smiled wryly. On the one hand, he looks like a villain in a story. Actually, coincidentally, I also have black information about Yan Jianzheng and Yan Yingying many years ago. About blowing up that house. But I have to warn you before releasing the news. If this happens, he will offend Yan Jianzheng. His anger is not something that an ordinary rich man can withstand. So these documents are very expensive. Not even 1 or 2 million is possible. Where can I buy it? Then the pressure of big platforms also needs him to pay to solve it. He originally intended to try to scare. See if Lin Sin really has such ability. Look at Shi Luobing's face to make matters worse. The things you just mentioned above are not something a normal person with money can solve. Yet, Lin Sin's eyes were bright. As happy as catching gold. And there were good things. So ready. Buy immediately. Things that can be solved with money are not a problem. Both of them were shocked. They decided so quickly, without hesitation for a second. Luobing quickly stopped them. Mr. Lin Sin, don't. Lin Sin calmly put out 3 fingers. There are also COC and Xiaodi's black documents. I bought them all, casually said the price. Zhao Wei's phone vibrated. Received it Lin Sin 6.000.000. Zhao Wei learned for the first time what the unlimited power of a person with money looks like. He counted every zero on the screen. His hands shaking. 6.000.000. Without bargaining it was transferred already. Lin Sin looked at him with half an eye. Before saying it so seriously. I thought he was going to push the price to hundreds of millions more. But it was only 6.000.000. Disappointed. He really thought a lot. Okay, he didn't wait for Zhao Wei to calm down before saying. The materials are all there. You arrange for people to spread the word. Then hire a navy to lead the rhythm. The more the better. He looked towards Shi Luobing. And towards Bing Bing. Without capital, one more round of propaganda. When the time comes, invite major media to announce. She hesitated not to say anything. I'm out of money. Felt extremely self-blame. Because of this all the money was paid to compensate the movie broadcasting platform. The company staff had already resigned more than half. Lin Sin loudly. What? Shi Luobing was so scared that he lowered his head. Closed his eyes tightly, whimpered, me. Lin Sin laughed cheerfully and patted Shi Luobing's shoulder, constantly praising him, even giving the other person 1 million likes. Good job really, Co Bing. In 2 days I spent more than 300 million. Not bad. I really need talented people like you. But this strange action of yours surprised the two of them. Is this your golden boss? Is there a problem? Lin Sin held out 5 fingers. Firmly. Give her another 1 billion to renegotiate with the company platforms. Recruit new employees. Buy more navy. No need to save. All the money is spent. Give the enemy a fatal blow. Shi Luobing seemed to be revived. The corners of her lips moved. Her hand pointed towards herself. 1 billion. Me. Am I worth that much money? Zhao Wei was even more shocked. That's right. Is she worth that much money? Lin Xin's face remained unchanged. Her voice was as light as a feather. But to Shi Luobing's heart, it carried a weight like nothing else. I can't stand it. Who talks about money with you? Now I'm talking about dreams with you. Shi Luobing's heart is throbbing. Her cheeks are hot. Lin Xin. Favorability plus 30%. Degree Shi Luobing's favorability is 82%. Zhao Wei feels like he has found his golden thigh. He must cling to it quickly. He patted his chest loudly. Mr. Lin, I am very professional in this matter. Just leave it to I guarantee I can make things right for you. Lin Xin came to accept him. Just smiled and asked, didn't you just want to erase your relationship with me? You denied it. That's it. Just now. Yan Jianzheng is not even better than the guy carrying sandals. What am I afraid of him? Said then slammed the door and ran away. You two just wait for my news. The results will be out tonight. Working neatly like this really wins people's hearts. Lin Xin smiled and clicked like for him. Not long after, everyone was excited. Zhao Wei had new hot news. Everyone go look at Weibo. Reverse the dynamic. God, I still have to watch Mr. Wei when I'm looking forward to the drama. The person at the top based on the hidden rules is not Shi Luobing but Yan Yingying. Below the post is also attached a 7-minute hot clip of Yan Yingying. Children should not watch it. Just hear her moaning and calling Mr. Yan. Please be gentle. It makes people's eyes hot. The commenters below still don't believe it. This is Yan Yingying. Only her back. It's fake, right? In response to her wet moans, then there was the man's soft laugh. Slow. I saw that she was criticizing me for not being fast enough. The online community was buzzing. Who is Mr. Yan? The boss of Tianhuang Entertainment. Right. I realized heard this voice. It was Yan Jianzheng. A moment later Yan Yingying in the other clip turned around. Embarrassed. Mr. Yan, I gave it all to you. You can't do it. Female-led and center of Descending Autumn Mountain, I wanted. Some people immediately recognized. Descending Autumn Mountain is her debut movie 10 years ago. Seeing her voice is not as good as seeing her face. Only now do people really believe Yan Yingying. The idol they worshipped was kneeling like a puppy under her golden master. It turned out that she was the one at the top based on the hidden rules. Yan Jianzheng held onto Yan Yingying's shoulder. Using force. Okay, come at that time. I will tell the other two female actors to wear red clothes and you to wear white. Can you? Yan Yingying used her watery voice. Mr. Yan is so great. The comments below increased rapidly. Explain, isn't Tianhuang the company that signed a contract with Shi Luobing before? This time I understand. Yan Jianzheng told Yan Yingying to falsify evidence to frame Shi Luobing. A few minutes later, Zhao Wei also posted the news new. Just as hot as the hot clip just now. The two 18th-tier actresses and the wealthy gentleman performed a royal affair in the hotel. Staying until noon the next day before checking out. With a photo of the two of them holding their arms of a fat old man entering the main door of the hotel. Public opinion changed direction to realize the truth of the matter. Indeed, these two girls were also actors that Yan Jianzheng invited. Harming others to help the Golden Master. His acting exploded again. That's right, an actor. He should be assassinated. Yan Yingying should also be assassinated. Yan Yingying stood with his arms crossed watching his assistant check the post. And the second 18th tier. COC and Xiaodi are kneeling down and crying miserably. Ms. Ying, please save me. She said that as long as she cooperates with me in acting, she can get good resources. She didn't say there would be consequences. Like that. Yan Yingying shouted angrily. Get out. I can't even take care of it myself. Who has the free time to take care of you guys? Her assistant is also eager. Ms. Ying can't do it. We've wasted 200 million Chinese yuan to buy a navy. Even using AI to post comments. Still unable to control public opinion. According to our PR team's analysis, the other side spent at least 500 million to buy comment marines. Moreover, they have more advanced AI technology. And there are also hackers. Quite a few Chinese naval companies. We were all hacked by the other side. Yan Yingying was sweating. How could that be? Who exactly was the other side? She got mad. Her face turned black. She kicked everyone out. Everyone get out. Come out. Leave me alone. The phone on the table vibrates. It's Yan Ying Ying calling. Yan Jianzheng is wearing a nightgown. What's wrong? The other person begged. Mr. Yan, I've tried everything but still no it worked. Mr. Yan saved me. He clicked his tongue. What use is saving you to me? She snapped. What? We're on the same boat. If I collapse, you will also be hurt. Involved. Yan Jianzheng calmly replied. Don't misunderstand. I'm not an actor or a public figure. What use is fame for me? Have you ever heard of any rich people playing for a few decades? Has half a star caused the business to go bankrupt? I didn't expect that when he said he would turn over, she would turn over right away. She was angry. What? Yan Jianzheng, that bastard. He pressed impatiently button to turn off the call. The girls who used to wait at his feet were now lying in a pool of blood and covered in wounds. The room around them became a mess with broken wine bottles and glass shards. Yan Jianzheng slowly stood up, holding the phone tightly in his hand. His robe was stained with red wine stains and a few drops of blood of unknown origin. He gritted his teeth. Shi Luo Bing, I underestimated that golden master. You're too much. Dare to confront me, Yan Jianzheng. I will make his entire family regret ever being born into this world.